violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe, and let's get into the video. So, guys, this one is pretty crazy, man. This guy killed his former girlfriend at sleep after breaking GPS monitor while under house arrest. So this guy is under house arrest, and he was willing to throw everything away to take out his ex-girlfriend. I mean, that's pretty disturbing. It's pretty crazy. These guys, like I said, they're on demon time. So let's get into the article. According to the police, the incident happened 2 weeks ago in Florida, where the suspect, identified as the 29-year-old H. Dorvillas, killed his ex-girlfriend while she was sleeping at her home. The woman was identified as the 23-year-old E. Etienne. Okay. As multiple local sources reported, the couple have been together for a few years, and their relationship had been nothing but a toxic one. At the time when the incident happened, Dorvillas was under house arrest, and he was not allowed to leave his home. The victim said in court that the suspect had beaten her multiple times during their relationship over the years. According to the court reports, Dorvillas was already facing several domestic violence charges after allegations that he beat Etienne on 2 separate occasions and pointed a gun at her. He was arrested on June 1st after an argument when he allegedly pointed his 9mm gun at Etienne after she said she wanted to end their relationship. According to police, he said, "If you try and leave me, I will shoot you dead." The couple struggled for the weapon until Dorvillas finally fired and hit his leg. Right after he suffered the gunshot injury, he went to hospital for treatment. So he pointed a gun at this woman and ended up shooting himself. What an idiot. Following the incident, the judge in the case to put Dorvillas under house arrest, and he was not allowed to leave his home until the trial. Guys, and what do we talk about this prisoner reform, bail reform? I mean, this guy pointed a loaded weapon at a woman, told her that if you try to leave me, I'll shoot you dead, and the judge grants him house arrest. Then he goes on to shoot her and kill her. I mean, these judges might have to be held on trial. I mean, these judges should be held liable. Okay? This is not okay. You got a guy who's obviously mentally unstable, obviously irate, possessive, controlling, pulling a weapon out on a woman, threatens to kill her if she leaves him, goes to court, all the evidence is presented, and he gets house arrest with an ankle monitor that he can easily cut off. It's bullshit, man. Okay? Excuse my French. On one day late September, he broke his GPS monitor and headed to his ex-girlfriend's home. The young woman was still sleeping in the early morning hours when the suspect broke at her home and stabbed her multiple times until she died. He fled the scene and was on the run for several hours until the police located and arrested him. Under the Florida law for murder cases, he was held in jail with no option for a bond. He was charged with first-degree murder and will spend decades in prison if found guilty. So the next story that I got, man, is pretty crazy, but they ended up finding a Jackson County shooting suspect in Georgia, okay, or in Florida, but he was arrested in Georgia, and he was wanted on a shooting in Jackson County. So October 5th, 2021, at approximately 6:30 p.m., the Jackson County Sheriff's Office responded to a call regarding an individual being shot. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office made contact with the victim and advised investigators that he had been intentionally shot in the leg by a male family member. The victim identified Anthony Simmons as the suspect, and evidence located at the scene supported the victim's statements. During a search of Simmons' residence, investigators seized several firearms to which he had direct access to. Simmons fled the scene prior to law enforcement arrival, and warrants for his arrest were issued. Simmons, a fugitive from justice, was located in Liberty County, Georgia, and taken into custody without incident. He was charged with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon and 3 counts of possession of firearms by a convicted felon. Sheriff Edenfield would like to thank the community for their willingness to notify law enforcement when a crime occurs, as well as the JCSO Patrol Division, the JCSO Criminal Investigations Division, the Florida Caribbean Regional Fugitive Task Force, the U.S. Marshal Service, and the Liberty County, Georgia Sheriff's Office for their roles in bringing the suspect to justice. So it looks like he shot a family member in the leg, and they ended up snitching on him. So, hey, I mean, when the community talks, they get these guys off the street. When the community doesn't talk, these guys get to do more damage and do more mayhem. And like the story that we did, the last story, a lot of these guys on violent crimes, man, even if they do get booked, even if they do get presented in front of a judge, the judge is playing softball with them, man. Okay? I mean, it's like almost impossible. It's almost impossible to solve this unless these judges start going harder and really, you know, giving these guys some time, not letting them bond out on these violent offenses. Okay, and this isn't a situation right here where he was bonded, but it's an example of how quick these criminals can get, you know, in front of a judge and receive justice for their actions if the community talks.
More on that breaking news story out of Tuscaloosa.
A 13-year-old was shot and killed. WVTM 13's Jeff Eliasoff joins us now live from Tuscaloosa, that is, with the very latest. Jeff?
All right, well, these are not the Friday night lights that we like to celebrate. This is a just unspeakable tragedy here. We're at the location is 35 Washington Square. This is on the west side of Tuscaloosa. This is an ongoing, active scene because the 13-year-old boy was shot almost 4 hours ago now at...
Wow, so this is in Alabama, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Looks like it was just a drive-by. They sprayed the house up. Most likely, they sprayed the wrong address, okay? But this is what these brothers do, man. This is what they call sliding on the ops, them being on demon time, and they end up taking out innocent people.
About 6:20, we're told, by the Violent Crimes Unit here in Tuscaloosa, and ever since, the search has been on for suspect or suspects. What we can see in the street are numerous markers where shots were fired. So in the middle of this melee.
So look at all these shell casing. Look at all these shell casings. These guys indiscriminately shot into this house, didn't know who was in there, killed a 13-year-old boy. And this is glorified in the culture. This is what all these dudes is talking about in the music. Like, and people will really be online saying free him when these dudes get caught up to.
A 13-year-old boy was struck and killed. We have some sound that we got earlier this evening from Tuscaloosa Police Chief Brent Blankley. Let's listen.
It's a senseless murder. You know, we see it all the time where adults are shot, and it's terrible, but when it's a kid, it takes it to another level. We're going after suspects right now. We won't leave here till we get them in custody. It's a lot different, you know, we're all dads and moms out here. When you see that and you see the senseless tragedy of that, you know, it hits you different.
So they're supposed to convince us as in black people, that this guy is racist, KKK police, that this guy is a white supremacist, a suspect white supremacist. They're supposed to convince us that this guy doesn't have the community's best interests at heart. He's taking this personal. He's taking this seriously. He said he got kids. Some of his officers have kids. He said they're not going home until they locate and identify the suspects. More than anybody else in the community is doing. And we talk about policing our own. How's that worked out?
So we're just going to do everything we can to make these arrests.
Once again, they're staying out here until they find a suspect or suspects, and you can see that they've been out here the better part of 4 hours now. Don't know what was involved in this altercation, whether the victim was in fact somebody who knew the assailants. All that will be sorted out in the fullness of time. But once again, gunfire on what was otherwise a beautiful night here in West Tuscaloosa. As soon as we get more information, we'll pass it along to you. We are live tonight in...
You know, they probably just got done watching the football game. This young man probably just got done watching the game, all that stuff. And he's killed, man. Over what? Over what, man? Over nothing. Probably just got done watching Alabama go in on Mississippi State. Probably played some video games, played some 2K, played some, Maddens, played some NCAA. And doesn't get to wake up the next morning.
Tuscaloosa. Jeff Elias off WVTM 13.
So, guys, I just wanted to show you, this is that young man whose life was taken from him by these thugs, by these criminals, by these, piece of crap individuals, by these guys who don't deserve to see the light of day, by these so-called gangsters, by these, you know what I'm saying? Okay? This is him. Like, I want people to take a look, man, because his boy didn't do nothing wrong. He didn't deserve this. But where's Black Lives Matter? Where are all the protests? Where are all the people saying we're not going to stand for this? They're a bunch of cowards, man.
Yeah, Rosemary, SEPTA says it has cameras everywhere, and one of those cameras captured the entire incident Wednesday. Now, as for boots on the ground, the agency says it has recently hired 60 security personnel here at the Market Frankfurt line alone. And it's reminding people that a SEPTA officer was the one who called 911 in the first place. At SEPTA's 69th Street Transportation Center Saturday, riders are still in disbelief no one helped a woman in distress.
Nobody helped.
It was wrong, honestly, and it shouldn't have happened.
Upper Darby police say 35-year-old Feistin Noit raped that woman on the market.
Okay, so Feistin Noit, what was his name?
Upper Darby police say 35-year-old Feistin Noit raped.
Feistin Noit took advantage of a woman on the bus where everybody was there. Nobody stopped him. I told you guys about the short dreads. I mean, he's on demon time. A lot of the short dread dudes are on demon time. Okay. Especially if they're crusty. Looks like he got some crust in his eyes, crust around his mouth. Definitely a dusty brother. Definitely a dusty individual. But, if I seen this, I would have definitely stepped in. Okay, I would have definitely stepped in and helped. But you guys got to understand who's riding these buses. A lot of times it's old women, young kids, people who can't really defend themselves like that. I mean, what were they supposed to do? Try and fight this brother off so he can pull out a weapon or something and hurt them? This is a job for the police, which they've been chanting to defund, which they don't want any help on. This is what community policing looks like. Sitting back, watching, maybe pull out your iPhone, whatever. But this is what they talking about when, oh, we can police our own. We can police each other. No, you can't. Because you're afraid of guys like this, right? These are the guys that you cross the sidewalk to avoid eye contact. Okay? These are the guys who ask you for $1 on the street and you're scared not to give them your money. Okay?
That woman on the Market Frankfurt line at 69th Street Wednesday night. But what's most disturbing to many here is that witnesses watched but didn't intervene or alert police.
People are scared to do the right thing, you know, but you got to be the first one to take that step.
Hold on, Siani. Why are people scared to do the right thing? Why? Because a brother like that, everybody knows, will come, especially in Philly. Anybody who tells on him, he's coming back and spinning the block on you. And most likely, he'll be too high to remember your face. So he'll go and retaliate on somebody who may not even have been involved. Right? Mistaken identity. But this is the caliber of dudes that women like Siani, I'm pretty sure she was protesting, Black Lives Matter movement, all that stuff, defund the police. These are the dudes that they're protecting. But then they're the same women who say, oh, you know, we're not being protected. We're the most unprotected. Well, you opened it up. You opened the floodgates. Okay? This is a Jacob Blake situation who black women defended, you know, they defended him ad nauseum. They said it was a travesty that Jacob Blake was shot 10 times and possibly paralyzed, when he literally did the same thing that this guy did. He did the same thing.
First one to take that step.
SEPTA says a female employee stepped in to help after she entered the train car and noticed something wasn't right. Those we spoke with wish passengers acted sooner.
That's awful that out of everyone, just the SEPTA worker did that. Like, what's wrong with people?
What's wrong with people? They're scared of people like this, man. You wouldn't have did anything either. Big black man with the short dreads comes in there on demon time, does what he wants, take advantage of people. Okay? You're not doing anything either. He's a bully. And then he'll victimize you as well. So, I mean, I think a lot of these people are kind of talking out their neck, talking about they would do something. Y'all wouldn't have did nothing either.
There's multiple ways you can intervene to try to de-escalate the situation without actually physically putting yourself involved in it, like breaking it up.
Oh, so you can de-escalate a guy taking advantage of a woman by talking them down. Hey man, that's not right for you to do that. Hey man, pull your Johnson out of her, man. Hey man, stop penetrating her, bro. That's not cool. No, you're gonna have to punch that man in the face. You're gonna have to get physical. You're gonna have to fight him. He's an animal at this point. And what happens when you try and mess with an animal when they're eating? You get bit. So you're gonna have to bite back. This ain't gonna be no de-escalation, no talking them down. Nah, B. Take your mask off, get your hands ready, and let's go to war. If you was gonna do something, let's go to war.
SEPTA hopes everyone treats this incident as a learning experience, and it's once again urging riders to dial 911 whenever they see a crime happening. People can also use its Transit Watch app to discreetly communicate with transit police for non-emergency.
Hold on, so they expecting black people to snitch on other black people? Is that the expectation? I mean, this train had to be full of brothers and sisters. I mean, for nobody to say anything, nobody even call the police afterwards? Had to.
Society.
That was the wokest train. I guarantee it was the wokest train in the whole city of Philadelphia.
Just needs to work harder to help people, you know. We just need to know that if we were in that position, we want someone to help.
Now, here's another detail Upper Darby police just told me a short time ago. At some point during that incident, they say the victim became unconscious. So it's just another reason they need anyone who was on the train that night to come forward and speak with police. We're live in Upper Darby. I'm Brian Sheehan, NBC 10 News. Rosemary.
And developing right now in Delaware County, Upper Darby police are investigating a reported rape on board a SEPTA train. It happened on the Market Frankfurt L near 69th Street around 11 o'clock Tuesday night. Police say a SEPTA employee who boarded the train called in the attack. 33-year-old Fiston Noy was charged with forcible rape, assault, and other crimes. Investigators are now trying to piece together if there were any other videos or pictures of that incident.
We're still going through the video, but there was a lot of people, in my opinion, that should have intervened. Somebody should have done something. It speaks to where we are in society. I mean, who would allow something like that to take place? So it's troubling. But again, we're working on that, and we're trying to identify anyone that we saw coming on and off the L at that time.
Police say the victim is recovering from her injuries. Meanwhile, the suspect is being held at the Delaware County Prison after failing to post bail.
So he got a bail. And the only reason that he's in jail right now, the only reason is because he's a dusty. He's broke. He couldn't post his bail. And there are literally movements, especially in this area, in the Northeast of America, where there are woke people putting together their funds to bail these criminals out. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody spotted his bail. I would not be surprised.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.